focus on certain muscle groups. In this case, it was the shoulders and the lats. If you want a V taper, that's what you're going to have to focus on. So you'll see plenty of that in that program. Then there's also the core. The core is in the middle of the body. Not developing your core is a massive issue because this is where the eyes go. So you have to have a nicely shaped core and nice abs.
That's still recharging.
I came to the crossroads from the south seeking help, adventurer. But I find only cowards who turn their backs on me. Even the mighty Thork insults me so. He is a good leader, but his dismissal of my plea causes me greater anger. He claims my rage makes me hasty, that it clouds my judgment, but I will not rest until I have vengeance.
I understand. Thank you, adventurer.
As well. And then we also can mention the arms. The arms have to be developed. Now, if you know Steve Reeves' philosophy, you know that he was very particular about the way to develop the human body. He thought that everything needed to be in proportion. So your upper arms needed to be the size of your calves. If your arms were bigger than your neck, you're doing something wrong, etc., etc. This is all for the sake of flow. This is what makes the Silver Era physique. So I'm going to follow these guidelines loosely. I'm not going to stick to them 100% because you'll see that the methodology I employ in this program for you guys is, yes, very related to the Silver Era, but also has some modern elements to it. And it's the same for the exercise selection. If you're a history buff and you know the training programs of the guys back then, you will see that this program as well contains a ton of the favorite lifts of the time. But it also has a good amount of modern lifts because even though we try to replicate a physique that was available 100 years back, we are now with more information and more ability to come up with something even greater. So this is the mix that is going to get you to that Steve Reeves physique. And since I am going to mimic the way the guys of back then trained, especially Steve Reeves, it's also a no-brainer that this program is going to be a full body split, which was the favorite type of split of back then. The template, while it's not my favorite, is excellent. It's just that I believe that full body is the hardest way to program. You need to actually be pretty good at recovery, at frequency to be able to handle that. But since I'm fairly decent at both, I actually came up with something great for you guys. So this is the way it is going to actually work. It's going to be 3 times a week, like the greats of back then. And it is going to be, as I said, following the methodology of the dudes of this Silver Era. So each day is going to be fairly long. It's going to be long sessions, which means that you're going to need to have some work capacity, meaning that this is no bueno for novices. I understand you might be a novice and you look at Steve Reeves' physique and you say, I want that. You can, but we're going to take it step by step. For you, I recommend you jump on my Greek statue program that is in the description first and foremost, because it is a great stepping stone to this program. This is way too much for your average novice. You're going to crash and burn. This is mostly going to be for intermediates and advanced lifters. And actually, I made 2 different programs, which is also going to help us discuss the difference between intermediate and advanced in terms of workload. But the 2 are also available in the description free for you guys. And now that we're going to get into the program, if you want to be able to have a visual representation of the way this would look as run by a bodybuilder, I'm going to, in the pinned comment, include the name of a guy who I personally consider to be one of the most advanced natural bodybuilders in this modern era right now, and also a specialist of the silver era. He himself trains full body 3 times a week. So if you want to see how someone will actually run that type of program, please go check his page, and if you like what he's doing, you can subscribe to him. His name is Erzoviak. You will be taken aback because one, he's very French, so be mindful of that. It can be a little bit shocking at first. And two, he has a tremendous physique. I can vouch for him that the guy is 100% natural. This is what men, modern men, can look like if they know how to train.
Long has it been since you were last tested, adventurer? You have shown patience thus far in your studies, but the time has come for you to learn more. The time has come for you to learn about the purity of water. Seek out Islin Waterseer in the Barrens. She is along the eastern coast, south of the South Fury River and Ratchet. You will find her there at her fishing hut. Good luck to you, adventurer.
And even if they want a silver era physique and you could tell yourself, well, it's impossible, we're not like the men of back then. Bullshit. This guy did it. It is absolutely possible for everyone. You just need to know how to train. So please go check that guy out. Now, let's get into the actual program. Let's start with the intermediate template. The intermediate and advanced templates are fairly similar. It's just that the advanced template has more workload. So you will notice something interesting with the program, and that is that there is no abs training, which is weird because I just told you that the V-taper and the focus on the core was absolutely paramount for that silver era Steve Reeves physique. So how come? Well, it's because we're going to run what I call an auto-regulated abs training scheme, meaning that while the abs are not included in the program, you are expected to train them. Those of you who have taken a look at my ZOD training program for people who want more mass can also vouch that this is effective, but it can be a little bit confusing. So this is how it's supposed to be run. I don't include sets for abs in the program, but you're supposed to hit 80 to 200 reps per week.
It is our duty
so it's
to
per
ensure
training
that
week,
those
so
that
it's
must
3 days
remain
a
a
week.
secret for the good of
You're
all
supposed to do
stay
8
as
to
such.
10 ab isolation
I bid you
sets
greetings. I
weekly.
enter.
So
Yes,
this is
the
where you're
druid.
going to get your reps. I'm containing them between 8 to 10 so that it gives you a guideline on what to do. You're supposed to do no more than 4 per day. So you could do 4, 4, 2. You could do 3, 3, 4. You are supposed to do it for no more than 20 reps per set, but no less than 10. That's why we keep you within a relevant rep range. And you're supposed to always place this set after lower body compounds because I don't want to pre-fatigue your core and your ability to stay rigid before a big squat. It would be a recipe for disaster. If you think that this is complicated, please go to the description and read it. It makes a ton of sense. It is very easy. I do that because it's going to teach you how to train, how to instinctively train the muscle groups that need to be trained. This is super simple to actually run, and it's going to give you freedom. Freedom is absolutely important when it comes to training, and the silver era bodybuilders were big proponents of that as well. When it comes to the exercises I recommend for the abs in particular, decline sit-ups weighted, leg raises weighted, hanging knee raises without weight, V sit-ups without weight, and windshield wipers without weight. These for me are the best to develop that silver era core. If there are other abs exercises that you like, you can run them. Just stay within the rep range and the goal rep that I set out for you, and you should be all good. Now, let's look at the actual scheme. The intermediate scheme is going to be 3 sessions a week for a total of 12 sessions a month and a grand total of 140 and 150 sessions a year. And it starts with the Monday. We are going to begin every single day by the most strenuous exercise because It's what I call the pyramid of priority, which is also a pyramid of intensity if you know what you're doing. When you run a full body split, full body days are long, and if you make the mistake of putting an exercise that is too demanding in terms of energy low, you're just going to sink back because you don't have the energy. So you're going to see that the exercises at the very top are the most important of the day, and the ones that are going to
one
give you more
sees that its
tonnage and more
reputation for
fatigue.
strength and
And the
speed
more we
is
go
well
down the
earned.
list of exercises for the day, the less fatiguing they are, and therefore the less quote-unquote important. This is a safety measure I put in place in every single one of my programs, because I know for a fact that sometimes you don't have time, sometimes you skip. In this case, always skip the bottom sets, never the top sets, okay? This is the pyramid I set out for you. So in this case, for Monday, we start with squat, barbell or hack, 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 12 reps. So it's going to give you the ability to hit some more intensity or more volume depending on the daily needs. And then we superset that with some seated cable rows or some sill rows, 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 15. Since this is a program made by me, of course, no surprise that there are some supersets, but I arranged them in a fashion that I think the silver era bodybuilders will also approve of, meaning that it's always a double set, so it's always a superset. There are no giant sets in this program, and even when there are that giant sets, technically, it's a tri set with 3 exercises, and you will notice that there is an exercise in the list that is always the quote-unquote least important. So if you can't run it for a reason or the other, you can always slash it. It's the same logic of priority I apply to this entire program. Then we move on to upper body movements with the incline press, a favorite of Steve Reeves, dumbbell or barbell, whichever one floats your boat, or a machine incline press. Okay, it's a machine that is supposed to be pressed not directly upwards, not directly in front of you, but in the middle. It's an
This
incline
bang
press.
is merely a
We're going
token,
to do
but what
3
it
to 4
represents
sets
is
of
profound.
6 to 10 reps for this
Shaman
one.
Hali's strength is in
Supersetted
you,
with some
adventurer.
reverse curls, dumbbell
May you
or
use it
barbell,
with
3 to 4
temperance.
sets of
That
6
is your
to
burden.
12. So
That is your
right now
honor.
we hit the quad, the
Now,
posterior chain,
adventurer,
we hit the
you
upper
must
back,
face
we
the
hit
great
the
thunder
shoulders,
lizards.
we hit
So
some
large are the
chest, and
beasts,
we also
the
hit
ground
the
rumbles
forearms.
as they
This
stomp
is
across
how
the
a good
plains.
full
Take
body
care
split
as you
is
fight them,
ran.
for one
A
false
full body
step,
split
and you
that
may
is
find
just
yourself
compounds,
beneath their
compounds,
feet.
compounds
You will
is
find
garbage.
the thunder
A full
lizards
body
in the
split where
southern
you beat
barrens.
every single
They
muscle
are known
equally
as
is
storm
also for the most
stones,
part
storm
garbage.
hides, and
You're going to see that
thunderheads.
certain
Return
days
to
have
me
an
after you
emphasis
have
on certain
bested
muscle
them.
groups. While it's a full body, it does not mean that the entire body needs to be worked equally. This
spell
is where
isn't ready.
recovery actually comes into play, and you will see that the more we advance. Then we do Romanian deadlifts or dumbbell bench. This is a bit weird because these exercises have nothing to do with one another. You will do your Romanian deadlifts if you want more posterior chain work, which, keep in mind, was not a main priority of the silver era. They did not want to load the hips too much. They thought that a big ass was not necessarily the most aesthetic, and arm strings were not a priority at all for these guys. But I understand that some of you guys might want to do it, so it's there. And if you want more upper body work, you can do your dumbbell bench. I know that some of you like to train your chest a ton, and if you don't press 3 times a week, you feel like you're dying. In that case, go ahead, do it. Both of them can be done again, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Then superset that with upright row, dumbbell or barbell, or lateral downs. Likewise, choice and freedom. Do you want more shoulder work and trap work, or do you want more lats and upper back work? Whichever way works, it's up to you. And you're going to do it for 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 15. The first is also 3 to 4 sets, by the way. I said 3 sets, I was incorrect. And then you wrap up the set with some neck
I'm out of
curls,
range.
4 sets of 15 to 20. Please note that this is the only time you train neck in the program, because the silver era did not focus on neck at all. They had fairly underdeveloped necks for the most part, and training it was not even a priority. It wasn't even just not a priority. They didn't even actually train neck for the most part. So it's up to you if you want to. It's just use 4 sets. Then we wrap up the day with some cable curls, 4 sets of 12 to 15. Then some French press or lying triceps extension, 4 sets of 6 to 10, and some seated calf raises, 4 sets of 15 to 20. You have a total of 8 sets of calves in this program, and these are the 4. So in totality for the day, as you can see, we trained the posterior chain, the upper back, the shoulders, we trained the chest to some degree, we trained the upper back again with the leg pull downs, the neck, we trained the long head of the tricep, we trained the biceps. All of that is complete, and we can wrap up that Monday and move on to the Wednesday. You get 2 days to fully recover, so you get 48 hours in between the 2 sessions. And the Wednesday is going to open with a barbell row, 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 10. I rep range, I don't want you to see I don't want to see too much cheating motion and cheating form. That being said, this is the barbell row, it's not a saw row. So you're still supposed to use your leg. This is a total body row, which is going to of course hit your back, but also the lower back and posterior chain. Or you could do some good mornings, 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 12. It depends on your goals again. The good morning that, by the way, was also a favorite of Steve Reeves. Then you can do some wide grip barbell shrugs or dumbbell shrug as a superset, 3 or 4 sets of 12 to 20, more yoke development, something that is not going to be too taxing, but it's going to match perfectly with the barbell rows or the good mornings. Then we move on to the upper body portion of the full body with weighted dips, or close grip bench. Again, these two were utilized by the silver era bodybuilders to develop the chest and to develop the shoulders. So these are foolproof. You can pick whichever one you like best. They're going to serve the same purpose. 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 10. Keep in mind that these rotations are not set in stone. So if you're someone who likes both dips and close grip, you could do one week and the other one the other week. It's absolutely up to you. Then you're going to do some split squats, which is what I hope or expect most of you guys are going to run. Or if you like some more specialty training types, you can do some Smith machine squats or some Dellinger squats. Dellinger squats were a favorite of Vince Gironda. It's essentially a front squat with your heels elevated by a tiny block or a plate. It's going to be 4 sets of 12 to 15, so it's going to be very hard to keep the front squat position for that long. But if you're someone who enjoys that type of quad movement, you can absolutely do that. Then we move on to some upper body work and some bicep work as well with the weighted chin-ups, 3 sets of 4 to 6. So I keep you within a small rep range to promote as much intensity as possible without actually risking anything, because the rep range is not wide enough for you to fatigue to the point that you're going to fall out of the rep range and potentially start to cheat. Then you do some dumbbell or machine shoulder press, 3 sets of 6 to 10. This is if you're someone who recovers fast on the press and wants to get more shoulder work, or face pose. So I am planning for people who might not be fully recovered but still want to hit the shoulders. This time you're going to focus more on the rear delt, so you'll hit some face pose. Again, it's not set in stone. You might be 1 week able to recover and you're going to press again for more progression. Then the next week you'll say to yourself, okay, I would like more upper trap and I would like some mid trap and rear delt work as well. So I'm going to do face pose instead. Absolutely great. Then you do some leg curls, 4 sets of 12 to 15. In this case, dash the 4 sets, you're going to do 3 sets. We're going to match the rest of the set, of course. And on top of that, we want to make sure to quote unquote minimize the posterior chain work, but still get some nice hamstring development as well. You're not going to get massive legs from that. Then we wrap up the day with some bicep work. So pelican cable curls. It's a cable curl I covered in my bicep exercises tier list. You can check out, it's on the channel. And you can also do some dumbbell fat grips preacher curls if you want it. 4 sets of 10 to 15. For the both, it's an exercise with a higher rep range because I absolutely do not want you guys to get hurt on that movement. The goal is to really focus on the stretch. Then some cable push downs, 4 sets of 8 to 15, so some more direct tricep isolation, which is the only type of direct lateral tricep isolation of the program because you do a ton of presses, the rest is going to be for the long head. Then some lateral raises, 3 sets of 15, a static rep range just for some more static added volume to the lateral head of the delt. Again, as you can tell, there's a big focus on the upper back, a big focus on the delt for that silver era aesthetic. After this, the Friday, the last day of the program, is going to be peak fatigue because this is how full body works. Full body is a lot of fatigue accumulated at once. So a good full body training program is going to have you do 1 to 2 days, leading to a 3rd day without actually interfering between the first one and the second 2. So this is exactly what is going to happen here. You still train the entirety of the body, but with slight differences that make it so that you're not going to be tired on the Wednesday from the Monday, and when you get to the Friday, the 2 days prior will not actually prevent you from giving your all. But at the end of Friday,
Have you
all of
come
that
for
fatigue
further
will be
training?
accumulated,
Shake the
and then
dust
you
of the
will need
road from
some
your
more rest,
garments then,
which is why
and let us
after
get to
Friday you
work.
get Saturday, Sunday completely free, and you start back up on Monday. This is also the beauty of full body splits. 3 times a week, it keeps that fire going because you only train 3 times a week. So you only always have that hunger and appetite to go into the gym and to train more and more and more. And every weekend sort of does a power wash of all of the fatigue. It's like a deload, quote unquote. It's a 3-day deload. Then you start back up and you're ready to kill it in the gym again. So the Friday is going to be a bitch, but stick to it because it's programmed in a way that is not going to promote any type of overuse. You start with deadlifts, 3 sets of 3 or 3 sets of 1 to 5. It's absolutely up to you. You could do 1 set of 5 also if you wanted.
How may I
This
aid
is for
you?
more choice and more freedom. Then some cable triceps extension if you want more long head of the tricep work, or cable drag curls, 3 sets of 10 to 15 if you want more bicep work. Then we move on to another press, overhead press, or behind the neck press, which was also very utilized back then. 3 sets or 4 sets, so it's 3 to 4, of 6 to 12 reps, wide range so as to promote progression and volume. And you are going to superset that with a movement I had to include in a silver era program, namely the dumbbell pullovers. 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. You're still going to go heavy and to failure, or 1 rep in reserve on that movement. But I keep you on high rep range because I find that when people do low rep ranges on the dumbbell pullover, they tend to cheat. They don't go as deep as they could when they go towards the bottom because they're afraid. And on top of that, there is a risk of injury. So we want to avoid that as much as
May the
possible.
eternal
Injury
sun
that, by the way,
shine
for the most part,
What,
happens
have
in
you
the
come
shoulder.
for further
It's not your
training?
lats that is
Shake
going
the
to tear
dust of
or
the
your
road
chest.
from your garments
It's the
then,
shoulder
and
because
let
it's
us
the
get to
shoulder
work.
that is, of course, stabilizing the movement and bringing the arms behind the body. Then some more leg work with leg press to deload the lower back. 4 sets of 8 to 15, and you superset that with some dumbbell or cable chest flies, or dumbbell or barbell guillotine press. So for this one, the guillotine press is a little bit like what I said earlier with the Dellinger squats. It's a specialty of the silver era. Guys back then swore by it, even the golden era to some extent. It's still quote-unquote a risky lift because there's a ton of internal rotation because the bar is very high on your clavicles, but it's absolutely doable. I do them with rings, so maybe you can do them with rings. 4 sets of 10 to 15, I keep you high on the rep range so as to make sure you don't actually hurt anything. The goal here is to get some additional chest work because as you can see in the program, there's not much of it. It's still there, but it's not as much as some of the programs would promote. So you still want to get that stretch in, pick the exercise you feel the most comfortable with. And some hammer curls for some more direct forearm and bicep work, 4 sets of 8 to 12. And then to wrap up this intermediate silver era program, the last set for the last day is going to be wide grip pull-ups, a tremendous lats builder that I recommend you do with a false grip or with a fat grip so as to make sure that you don't actually grab onto the bar, but you palm it, which makes all of the difference when the grip is wide. 4 sets of 8 to 12. You will not weight that movement, you will not need to weight that movement. The rest of the program has enough lat and upper back damage that when you get to the Friday, this is the way I program for you guys, this will be enough to fuck you up. Then hyperextensions or GHR, 4 sets of 10 to 15, some more lower back work and some more glute and hamstring work. Then standing calf raises, 4 sets of 12 to 20. So again, if we apply what I spoke to you about at the start with the pyramid of priorities, look at the last sets of every single day. Most of the time it tends to be redundant muscles you already hit in the program. It's just additional volume. So this program could absolutely be run with none of the last lines of each day actually ran. It's possible. It's just that you get less volume. So if you skip the Monday, you'll get less biceps and longer of the tricep and calf volume. If you skip the Wednesday, you'll get less biceps and again less tricep and some less shoulder volume. If you skip the Friday, you'll get less lats, less posterior chain and less calf volume. Not going to kill you. I'm still including it because more volume done in these rep ranges can be useful, and since you quote unquote only train 3 times a week, it's still necessary. But if you're an intermediate with poor work capacity, I recommend you run that program without including the last 3 to 4 sets of each day, and then you graduate to adding these sets as you go on, as you build that work capacity. That is going to be for the type of people who are going to enter this program after having ran something for novices so as to develop their ability to train. But then what about the more advanced lifters out there? Because again, as I quote unquote showed to you in the pinned comment, you can get a very advanced physique running a full body split. It's absolutely possible. So how do you jump from intermediate to advanced? Well, it starts with the auto-regulated arm abs training. Instead of doing 80 to 200 reps, you're going to do 100 to 240 reps. It doesn't look like much, but it is. You go also from doing only 8 to 10 ab isolation exercise, weekly sets total to 10 to 12. So again, it doesn't look like much, but it is a lot because with the same logic in mind, if you look at the amount of sessions we're doing, The advanced session has you train 4 times a week. So you train every 2 days, which technically you train 4 times every 8 days. This again looks like only one session, but if you look at it on a yearly basis, this means that you train 4 times a week, 15 times a month, 180 times a year. Whereas with the previous iteration of the program, you maxed out at 150 sessions. That is a difference of 30 sessions. It's a difference of 3 months. You train 3 more months in total. It's like there were 3 additional months in the year if you run the advanced program. That is the difference. This is so much more work. Do not underestimate the amount of work capacity and recovery this actually takes. The intermediate program gives you your weekend to fully flush out fatigue. With this, you will not have it.
Wow.
I still
It is
recommend
good to see
taking a
you
day
return.
off here and there
Proof
so
of
as
it.
to get
And it is
3
good
days
to know
in
you have
between,
done so
but it
with your
cannot
bones
become something
unbroken.
that is regular because if you do
Thunderhawk
that,
adventurer
you're
is a
just going to
fierce
return back
beast.
to
It
the
is time for you
intermediate
to
program.
face them.
So
You
this is
must
for
find where
those
it
of you that
grows
are
and bring
close
me its
to the
wings as
Steel
proof
Reef,
of your
to the
successful
Steve
hunt.
Reeves
Do
physique, and
this,
you just
and your
need that
time with
extra
me will
inch, that
near its
extra
end.
push of volume and intensity to actually get there. And this is when this full body split takes its final form. The first 3 days are the exact same, but instead of resting the weekend, you train on Sundays. You start with weighted dips or close grip bench, 4 sets of 6 to 12, plus rowing machine or dumbbell rows, 4 sets of 8 to 12. So you're going to trash your shoulders, you're going to trash your chest, and your upper back as well. Then some leg press for additional leg volume or good morning if you want more posterior chain, 3 sets of 10 to 15 or 3 sets of 6 to 10, plus seated real dart raises or cable lateral raises. Pick your poison. Do you want more real dart? Do you want more lateral dart? 3 sets of 10 to 15. As you can tell, I give you a ton of freedom in this program and options. It's up to you to decide, and this is again the flexibility I was speaking about. Then you do some weighted neutral grip pull-ups, 4 sets of 4 to 8 to completely terminate the lats, finger curls, 4 sets of, and I want to
It's too far away. I can't cast that yet. It's still recharging. still recharging. Cast that yet. I need a target. That spell isn't ready yet. Inventory is full. I can't carry anymore. can't cast that yet. Inventory is full. I can't carry anymore. Inventory is full. I can't carry anymore. That's still recharging. That spell is ready. That's still recharging. I can't cast that yet. That spell isn't ready yet. Inventory is full. I can't carry anymore. Inventory is full. I can't carry anymore. I can't cast that yet. Inventory is full.
How may I aid you? Go in peace.
Greeting.
You, like the Thunderhawk, should be proud. You have bested every foe we set you before and have done so with strength, courage, and honor. But your path, adventurer, continues. In fact, you will find the true hunters forever strive, forever walk their path with the same pride you have shown me. Now it is time to move on. You have hunted the beasts of the barrens. Your spirit is strong, but a hunter must always be prepared. A true hunter can stalk prey down any path. Mountains and swamps will not sway her, not even the sea. Find my sister Marin. She Adventurer, Melor Stonehoof has heard of your deeds, and has set a path before you. If you wish to take it, then go to Thunder Bluff and speak with Melor. You will find him on Hunter's Rise. Your strength impresses me, Adventurer. Your willingness to embrace the hunt gives me confidence that you could move on to bigger game, and bigger challenges. The forests of Ashenvale represent a vast untamed wild that the Horde seeks to impose its own will upon.